Hi guys. Well, today I'm going to be discussing the current and prior Miss Survivor competitions as I'm trying to follow that event a little bit more closely this year. So I have to now describe basically what I thought of the other two competitions. Well, Miss Survivor 2012, I actually didn't even know that was happening at the time because at that point I didn't know that Rob Cesternino had, his website and YouTube channel, that kind of thing. This was actually back when I didn't think too much of him, even though I enjoyed him in both seasons. So the finalists for that competition, well, they were all noticeable people, minus Andrea. That was a bit of a shock to me back then when I first heard of it, because that was back when I didn't really think there was much to Andrea, but you know where I stand on that. Pav winning, well, I think most of us could have predicted that because she's got such a great blend of, being fun to watch as a person for many people, fun as a player for many, and every kind of field. And I bet there were many people out there that, honestly voted for her even though she might not have been their exact favorite. It's just more of all-round kind of thing, or maybe just based on the interviews. So I've never been told the official results of that poll, but I think it went 5 being Jenna, 4 being Amanda, 3 Andrea, 2 Courtney, 1 Pav. I could be wrong, but that's just what I'm thinking it is. I've never looked in detail about this, and all that really matters is that Pav won. Miss Survival last year, the top 3, we should have seen that coming a mile away, and the result, I predicted that would have happened from the get-go. And unfortunately, I was proven correct. RC got the most votes, even though she didn't get more votes than Kim and Chelsea combined. And if you must know, I voted for Chelsea because, one, Kim didn't do that great at the interview, and she had won the game, so let's support her friend. And this year, I actually didn't vote because I was first aware that the competition was happening just after the polls had, shut down. So now, talking about how the narrowing of the contestants went. People that I was originally predicting would stick around for a while were Corinne, Sierra, Brenda, Dawn, and Tina. So I was a little bit shocked to see Dawn and Tina go up pretty dang early in the competition. But looking back, I actually feel I shouldn't have been surprised because, the amount of backlash that Dawn got towards the end of her game, not that it really mattered because everybody towards the end of the game playing Caramon really sank themselves down. Because that's the ironic thing about me and Caramon. I pretty much got on like every bandwagon about hating that went on in that season, hating Malcolm, hating Dawn, hating bits of stuff that Cochran did, hating the season, but it all took me a lot longer than everyone else. So looking back, I shouldn't have been shocked that Dawn went out so early. And then Tina, again, I feel like I shouldn't have predicted that because if you really look at it, her daughter was like a big focus in the season also, and well, Tina has had a bit of a glory shot, and just simply getting farther in the game again redeemed All-Stars, so I think she's good the way things are. And then how did I feel about the other early people? Well, most of them I think we could have expected, like the Caramon girls, you know who I mean. Fran getting the boot early, well, unfortunately, Fran, that's just the fact that, one, you went down so early, but also you just didn't get far enough. Or at least in Caramon, because I would have been interested to see your game playing Caramon. But Redemption Island, you had no shot. You would have gone eventually. Sorry to say that. But yeah, I don't hate Fran. But and then the people like Rachel, Laura M, Rupert's wife, Katie. I'm impressed that most of them got as far in the competition as they did, but given how I felt about most of the top 3, it was predicted that they would go out at least at some point. Yeah. Now jumping over to the top 3, I predicted even before the I started hearing who had gone that Brenda and Sierra were both going to be there because, well, if Brenda can get 35% of the vote to fan favorites without really being considered at any point in the season for fan favorites, obviously she's going to do well here. And then Sierra, well, given how much hype she got pre-season and how far she ended up getting, And then, how did I feel about Andrea making it again? Well, I personally like Andrea, but I didn't expect her to make it that far. I actually thought that she was going to go around the top 5-ish. But her making it again, not that much I can say, except I guess people just didn't want Candace to be there. Who would I have voted for? Based on predictability, I bet I probably would have bet on actually this top 3, although I could have easily switched one of them for Candace because, ironically, it's just the way it worked. In my mind, worked out with quite a lot of the votes. So, how do I feel like this top 3 is going to turn out? Well, provided all of them end up accepting their nominations as finalists for Miss Survivor, Andrea has no shot, next to the popular reactions from both of the other two. So, really her only shot is, ironically, for Brenda to bow out of the competition and Candace to jump in. But that's just based on stuff that they did in their seasons, and popular votes by fans, okay? For all I know, the interviews could throw stuff all out of whack. So that's how I feel about Andrea. Brenda, well, the big question is she going to do it? Because, well, given how close she got to fan favorite, a lot of people are going to really want her to do it, but Brenda, has been on there twice. She got far twice. Was popular both times, now has a baby, so her ability to come back is pretty much out of the question, so her last shot at glory, many would love for her to take it, but is she going to do it? And then Sierra, well, she's ready to do this, no question about that, and it's going to be tough to beat her, and I bet a lot of people are going to probably do her over Brenda just because of the newness factor and how much she attacked the game, because I feel like she did about as much in her one appearance as Brenda did in her 2 appearances. You could kind of argue that because Brenda was definitely more active the first time, but the fact that she ended up getting farther the second time kind of gains a little bit of what she didn't have on Sierra, if you know what I mean. So, predicted results if this top 3 ends up sticking as of right now. Third, Andrea, I'd say second, Brenda, and first, Sierra. Now, if Brenda bows out and Candace goes in, then it's a little bit more of a toss-up, I think, because it's not just the fact that, Candace has, shall we say, a bit of a mixed reaction in fan base. It's the fact that I think these people do kind of play off each other because, well, Kim and Chelsea played off each other because, they were both in the season and they both worked together, whereas, Kim and RC played off each other because of the young people stating that they're hot, even though I never said that about RC, and then RC and Kim because, well, they just got, more noticeability because, well, RC got a good amount of hype in her season, and then Kim had tons of hype pre-season. Another Tom Weston, if you remember pre-season Palau, I do. But with Candace being in there, it makes things a little bit more complicated because she's an older player, so that could throw in a lot of reactions, and are we going to just concentrate on, what's happened since HVV or anything like that? It's all over the place if she does, because Candace definitely will accept it, because given that she's been on there 3 times, the door to her is pretty much closed at this point. Because, nah, she's not a full-time player, I can tell that already. Rupert and Rob, yeah. Well, that went on a little longer than I intended, but I guess I just had a lot to say about this topic. And, yes, I'll be, doing vids for Mr. Survivor, although, given how new that is to Rob's sister Nina, I don't know how much I've got to say about it. We'll see.